We all know mental health is a serious issue and it definitely should be talked about more. But what about men's mental health? Is it serious enough of an issue to really be talked about? In today's episode, we're going to dive into the topic of men's mental health and how we men are not just all about fee, fi, fo, fum, or we men make fire, cook meat, ho 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 ho. Hey, and welcome back to the podcast, everyone. It's me, Simon, Vinod, and Wei Yong here coming to you from the Three Lattes Podcast. Hello, once again, and welcome to today's episode of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Okay, it's great to have you here with us. If you're listening to the podcast for the first time, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here with us and tuned in with us this morning or in the afternoon or at night. Whenever and wherever you're listening to us or however you stumbled upon our podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, and do follow us on our socials as well. We are on Instagram and YouTube as The Three Lattes. Okay, and soon to be on Spotify as well. Our podcast and our episodes of the podcast will be on Spotify as well. And anyways, yeah, how are you guys doing, man? It's another week, another Monday. How are you guys doing?
It's been a long week, bro.
Yeah,
it's been a long week.
Hey, but I see you guys have finally got new microphones. Hey, quality, up the quality for the podcast, yeah.
Yes, we gotta invest, cause
Vinod now sounds better.
Yeah, Vinod now is crystal clear.
We all on the same level now.
Yeah, ASMR quality.
Yeah, I'm gonna record some ASMR videos after this. Y'all gonna hear me eat.
How are you doing? How are you doing, Wei Yong?
Good. Time flies, man. It's like so fast in a week already.
Yeah,
but busy week.
That's so true, though. That's so true.
We're now on third episode, bro. That's really quick.
Yeah, third episode. Yeah, guys, clap it up, guys. Come on, we're on our freaking third episode.
3 weeks already.
Clap it up, my gosh. All right, that's great. That's great. We're just gonna keep trying our best to give you guys the best quality content as we can for every single week. Okay, as much as we all like to talk up, but okay, that is the reason for this podcast. But anyways, we like to start off the podcast every week with our hot take for the day. And my hot take for the day is that chocolate milk is rich. I just had chocolate milk just now and bro, it's rich. I tell you, it's of privilege level, man. I tell you, I'm not trying to copy the Ming thing. I know that they made a video about the Dutch lady chocolate milk that it was really. This is so long ago, man.
They did. I remember it.
Yeah, they did.
Thanks for refreshing my mind.
Yeah, that is. It was so good. It was really good.
Did you try it? Did you try it with salt? Because it's better with salt.
Huh?
I guarantee.
Salt?
Yeah,
seriously? Okay, I'm gonna try that later, man.
Yeah, you should.
All right.
So my hot take of the day. I don't know if this is I don't know if it's a very hot take, but for me, I think Spotify is a better music streaming platform than Apple Music.
Amen. Okay, Apple Music fans are gonna kill me now.
Even though I'm an Apple fan, but then I use Spotify lah.
I don't know lah. I think maybe they just came up with their
Apple
selections
Music
too late. They don't have much selections. I feel maybe.
I think Spotify, what it does is customizes playlists for you, which is cool. And then you have this new Spotify blend.
Oh yeah, dude, that's so cool.
There's some cool shit.
Yeah, it's you can't add any songs, they'll just refresh for you every single week or something like that.
Correct.
Or every single day.
Yeah, it's like they know you, which is what's great.
But it's a bit creepy at the same time, knowing that what you like about us.
Yes.
So we're being watched, man.
All this kind of thing.
All right.
Your hot take?
Okay, also hear me out lah. My hot take of the day is the less you sleep, the more tired you are. Correct, right?
The less you sleep.
I was gonna say, no crap, man.
I'm trying to brain that sentence for you.
Yeah, it took me a while to
There's another one. Then the more you sleep. Oh wait. Correct. I said the less you sleep, the more tired you are, and then after that, the more you sleep, the more tired you are also.
Is this whatever you do?
That's actually facts. Correct. That's actually quite straight facts. Because if you oversleep, you can also become more tired.
Yes.
Yeah, correct,
that's right.
So like you need to
My
at
mom
least
taught
hit
me
the,
that,
the
man.
mark. Yeah, you at least need to hit the mark of like 6 hours or like 7 to 8 hours,
7.
something like that. Yeah.
My magic number
Yeah.
is 7.
Sometimes I do feel like when I sleep more than that, like up until like maybe 10 to 12 hours, I actually wake up a bit more tired. But unless I'm like really tired the night before, and if I sleep like that amount of time, then yeah, definitely it recuperates.
Then you'll be fine. But then normally, like, if you sleep over, right, then you also feel tired when you wake up.
Yeah, lethargy hits lah. To be honest, like, you wake up then you're just like, wow. It's like wow.
I think I think it's funny that Wei Yong started talking about sleep because the topic we're going to talk about today is Simon.
Yeah. Okay. So, before we talk about the main topic, okay, thank you for bringing me back to the main topic. We just got ahead of ourselves just now.
Yeah, we
But
did.
yeah, before we dive into today's main topic, we just want to put it out there that, mental health doesn't recognize gender or race or color or age, okay? And I believe and we believe that everyone should be treated equally, okay? And everyone should be equally treated no matter what race and gender they are, and not one less, okay? Because in today's podcast, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about men's mental health. Okay, what is men's mental health? We all know what mental health is. It's a very psychological thing, and it's a very very popular thing going on right now because I guess after a long period of time, finally it's at least being taken seriously, especially in Malaysia, And nobody really talks about it because it's always a very sensitive issue, or maybe everyone tends to just put it aside and just set it aside, that it's not as important. There's better things to talk about. But I believe, and I think we all believe, we can all agree to this, that mental health is really important to talk about, and it should be discussed about. And moreover, I think we as men, okay, men's mental health should be discussed about, okay? So, we have a few questions for the topic this morning. The first one, of course, is what are the common mental health issues that men face in their daily lives? Okay, there's so many issues that we men go through every day okay. It can be it has it's such a wide array of things to really think about, to be honest. I think just for me to start off, since I already said so, I think one thing that is really quite of a huge impact is depression. We all don't really see it okay, because society has sort of quote unquote stigmatized it, that we are meant to be strong. We don't show our emotions. We have to shove things aside and move on, because that's
Amen.
who we are, compared to to women who is the more emotional one, the more open one, and stuff like that. But depression can range and can affect someone in really different ways. They can, through relationships, the tough work life, tough bosses and colleagues. And do you know that actually, I was just discussing with a friend the other night that, do you know actually that more men, according to BBC News, I was just reading up on 2019, the news from BBC News in 2019, that more men actually die by suicide compared to women who have depression. Because and the reason why this is so, the statistics of women dying due to suicide is also quite high, but why is men still much higher than them, and it's not really talked about, or it's not really discussed about in a way, you see?
Yeah. I think it's tragic that suicide, in its sense, if the rate is high, it's kind of sad. But I think the fact that the men's suicide rate has increased tremendously in the past decade, there has to be a reason, right? There's something not right with that. It's a bit weird. Yeah.
And to be honest, according to what the news source is, it says that one key element is actually communication. And the reason why they say this is because and then they put it in a way how say that, not to keep it super vague and stuff like that but then to be honest, I think we all kind of agree, and I'm not just saying this because we are men or whatever, okay, but I think it's already been socially sort of accepted that women are kind of the ones who are willing to share their problems a little bit more,
Yeah.
But but it varies from different women and different girls because like yet again, not every woman and not every girl is as open to share. But that's sort of like the quote unquote how society has sort of like put it in terms, and with women being able to share much more easily, men tend to bottle their feelings and thoughts and emotions up, but
Yep.
it is actually really sad because for a long period of time and for generations and decades, many societies have sort of like encouraged us as men, that we ought to be strong, and we cannot really admit that we are messing up, that we are struggling,
Yeah, I
because
think,
then
it's
then
normal
it shows
lah.
like the
Like, we
downfall
have
of us,
seen it. You have seen it before. How like men are usually the one that always go out, always the hard one, the tough one,
Yeah.
and they go out and
Yeah.
earn money and all. Whereas
We
the
all
woman
have
is
to
the more
be-
delicate, more it's different. It's like how they categorize men and women lah. And I think, and also how it now affects like mental health issues, especially like
Yeah,
depression,
right.
like you said just now. So yeah.
I
What
think
are
the gen.
What are
Sorry?
your takes on you guys like about the common mental health? Yeah, you were saying something just now, Vinod. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. I think for me, the gender stereotypes of like, oh, women are like the softer kind of gender and the men are the harder kind of gender. And you look at it like, oh, it's affected how society has portrayed women. I 100% agree with that. But I think what that stereotype has done for men is also like it has kind of like made us not consider our mental health as an important issue.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think pushing
So it's
those
like you're
gender
always like avoiding. You were like men would normally like avoid it. Like are you trying to say that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most basic things, right? Like when we grow. I mean, now maybe not so, but our generation, when we were growing up, and the generation before that, there's this saying, "Oh, men don't cry, boys don't
Oh,
cry."
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
You know, yeah. Like when I was like
It's
when I was
very
a
rare
kid.
lah, huh? We see men.
Yeah, when
cry.
I was a
Yeah.
kid. Yeah, when I was a kid.
But now it's like so
I-
different. So
Yeah, I mean now there's a conversation that's been having, which is good.
yeah,
But in terms of just men's mental health, I think that's for me that's an important thing to talk about because we need to be inclusive in the conversation about mental health.
I agree.
So we need, yeah, because mental health affects everyone. Mental health does not discriminate, but it affects different people differently.
so true. Yeah.
So you have to
Indeed.
be inclusive and you have to be a bit more detailed in how we talk about mental health and how it affects different people. Because the
Yeah.
way it affects women is so much different than the way it affects men. But at the end of the day,
Yeah,
the
correct.
pain and the problems are about the same. But the way it
So,
affects
like-
us and the way we, yeah.
Yeah. So like we're talking about mental health in general, right? So Simon just now gave like an example of depression. So like what do you think are like the other mental health like issues that men face other than depression? I'm sure there's more others, right? Like can you like give
Yeah.
some examples?
Definitely. I mean, just so that we can sort of like relate to everyone who's listening right now. I mean, I think us as guys, we can sort of like relate to a few things. Okay, for me particularly, I have a lot of anxiety and I have a lot of social anxiety as well. Okay, meaning like sometimes I tend to think of what others might think of me, like whether it be my appearance, my
Oh
character.
yeah, like then you
the
were
way how
like
I talk.
anxious, right?
Yeah, it really has a toll on like
Yeah.
your mental health, and it does if not sort of like treated, quote unquote treated, meaning like you're not aware of it and you want to like step out of it, it can take a huge toll on your own like self-confidence in the future. And generally is like in my personal opinion, this is how I've actually dealt with it. Like I felt like, to be honest, it's not as important lah what others think of me, but it's important what I think of myself, and like how highly I think of myself in a way. I mean, not to the point of being like very pride and very marwa lah, like that, but it's just that
yeah.
we all have to have our own sort of like own level of self-pride in order for us to like put ourselves forth out there, amongst others. Others later will just be like, oh no, no.
Yeah.
Then we step aside,
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what
get
that-
feeling.
no.
like no confidence like that lah.
Yeah. What other things do you think are the common mental health issues? Vinod, before we dive into the second question.
Okay. I think there's there's a lot of mental health issues that men face these days. Like generally, I think depression is a very common one.
Definitely.
Anxiety, like you said, is a common one. Even I felt it. I've seen people go through it.
Mhm.
And then eating disorders.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
ED.
Oh,
ED.
so
I think it affects.
how does that work like?
Okay, eating disorders. Okay, I'm not an expert in this, but like I'll just tell you what I know. Eating disorders is basically when you have an unhealthy relationship with food. Like let's say
toxic
you know
relationship with food.
I think Wei
Yeah,
Yong
you know,
cannot
like-
relate to that. Wei Yong's like, I love food, man.
That's right.
I mean to be honest, right? Like there's like
yeah.
have you ever like seen people who like, oh, I cannot
Cannot
eat.
eat,
I don't feel like
Okay.
eating. I don't have appetite.
Yeah.
Or people who really watch what they eat.
Yeah.
Like they're very particular on what they eat
Very
and how much they
okay.
eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not normal. You shouldn't have that relationship with food, and it's maybe because of their body image or their
Yeah.
health or whatever. So this,
yeah.
I think this is what health. I mean, this is what eating disorders are like in a sense.
I mean, usually we usually hear about ED, like especially among women, but I believe that a lot of men also go through this, and I think it's also because of how social media has kind of portrayed how men should be. We all need to be fit with freaking six packs.
Six
and-
pack.
Yeah.
Six
and-
packs.
I mean, it
and,
goes. I mean, it goes.
I mean,
both
it's
ways, man.
healthy. It's
I
healthy,
think,
but you know, it shouldn't be like forced upon. You know.
No, that's why I say it goes
Yeah,
both ways.
correct.
Like the mental health issues that we face, women face them as well. But
Yeah.
like I said, what I echoed is that echoing on what I was saying is that the way it affects us is different because the reasons it affect us is different,
Yeah.
and the
true.
way we handle it is also totally different.
Definitely.
I think
Very-
that
yeah.
yeah.
I agree on that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, okay, just to point out a few more before we move on. I believe that social pressures are also one thing. I think you guys can relate to this. Us as Asians, we grow up, and our parents always tell us that we need to go to school, we need to graduate from college with a degree or with a master's or a PhD, and then we need to get a stable job. We have to provide for the family. We need to pay them every month and all these different things. So I guess sometimes when all this is really weighing down on us as men, right? Like we have so much responsibilities that we carry, you know. That's why I feel like
Yeah.
it really weighs down on all of us. And if men don't talk about it, bro, even more, that will be like worse.
And,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
like what you said just now, like all the examples you gave, I think it happens at a young age also, right? Like your parents want you to study. I mean, it's like
Oh, yeah.
it
I
happens
think it
when you're in
affects-
primary school, in your high school.
It grows in us. It's
Yeah,
kind of
correct,
like
correct.
it goes on.
Yeah,
You know,
spot on.
I mean, with all of these different common issues or common mental health issues that we've sort of like pointed out, you know, as much as that we can point out and all these different things, depression, anxiety, social pressures, and stress of work or whatnot. How? Okay, let's just ask individually lah. How do we actually handle our own, like, for example, stress, anxiety, depression, or like, okay, before we go into our one first, how do you think men out there, like, you know, just in general, like, handle these issues, you know?
Oh, I think I don't want to speak for all men, but I think we men, what I think we do is that we tend to bottle up our feelings a lot, and we do that on a daily basis.
I relate to that, brother.
Yeah, like
it's like when people ask you, "How are you?" I'm fine. It's always I'm fine, but actually maybe
but it's
inside you're
never-
not.
Life is good.
Yeah, life is good. Life is
Life
good.
is good. Yeah, no, we just summarize.
Like,
you know,
How are you?
like, I'm
Okay,
chilling,
okay,
bro.
I'm doing-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not bad, not
yeah.
bad.
I'm gonna head out, you know, just grab a couple of beers.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be honest, right? You can group together 10 guys, and you can ask them, how did your day go? Most probably they won't be honest. They'll be like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm great. But you know for a fact some of them didn't have a great day, or some of them are going through some things. But they are very. We men we have issues in expressing our
Yeah,
feelings.
definitely.
There's rarely
We
a
find it
time where
uncomfortable.
that's the thing. The gender stereotypes where like men don't talk about feelings. That's where it comes back to hurt us because it's like because we've grown up, especially in the Asian household, right? We men are supposed to be breadwinners and going
Yeah.
out there and doing work and all that. So we don't really have the time to talk about feelings, and so because of that, we learn to suppress our feelings and not to talk about them. And because we do that,
Mm.
I think our mental health kind of takes a toll. It takes a toll on our mental health, where if you can't express what we're thinking and what you're feeling, it gets heavier day by day.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
It builds
yeah,
up.
it builds up. It builds up.
Mhm.
I don't know what's the word, but
Accumulate.
you know, it accumulates. Yes,
It
it
accumulates,
accumulates.
yes.
You know,
Jadi
Yeah.
Bukit.
and
think
yes,
that's
and
what
and by going from
Yeah.
I
there,
think
okay,
that's
that's
how
a
it
really
works.
good segue because you know, as things accumulate, we tend to find coping mechanisms. And with coping
Yeah, it's like
mechanisms,
somehow you still have
there's
to
so
face
many.
it, and somehow you have to deal with it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
so
just
we all
in
have
what
really
way, you
different
know.
ways on how we cope with it. But the general rule of thumb, okay, not to say general rule of thumb, but I mean the general thing that we always kind of know or hear is that coping mechanisms are either they go out, we drink, you know, alcohol, smoking.
Yeah, okay.
Some even go to the point of doing drugs. Okay, don't do drugs, guys. All right. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think
Goes
are
with-
the
goes
other
without saying.
coping
Please.
mechanisms? I feel there's like so
Everyone,
many,
I
to
see
be
my
honest.
vein, but no, please don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah,
Everyone here like that?
don't do
Nah, nah,
drugs.
nah, nah.
Yeah,
Relax,
this is a
relax.
this is a PSA. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, definitely.
I think men in general, they have a lot of vices. I think okay, not to say that everyone that drinks has mental health issues lah, but I
Yeah.
think you can see in how often they drink and how much they drink, there's a little problem there. I think yes, alcohol is a vice. I think drugs is a vice. Sex, I think, is also a vice. You know,
Yeah,
you see,
yeah.
how many guys do you see out here being like sexually active and going
man,
from
it's hard to say,
yeah.
man. I don't really know.
going from one woman to another. That's not normal behavior, you know.
Yeah,
And
true.
it indicates a bigger problem. So, and we don't talk about that as often. I know it's a very hard thing to talk about, but there's a
It's,
problem
yeah.
there here. Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are the few coping mechanisms.
I mean,
I think,
those are the
yeah.
to put it in categories. Those are like the negative ones, But to be honest, there are
Mhm.
also positive ones, though. Some people do like to
Mm.
jump into their hobbies, whether it be in collecting things, or
yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know. I'm
instead
just gonna
of
name a few
suppressing it,
hobbies: movie
Mhm.
collection,
They-
photography things, or whatever music things,
Yeah.
or like even the healthiest thing to do, If you know that you need somebody to talk to, right, it's actually to go and actually see a shrink.
Yeah, but I think the problem with that is that it's expensive.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. It is expensive. I
yeah,
mean, if
expensive.
they have the means for it, I mean, I guess it's
Mhm.
good. But all the more, it's even much better if you could go to a friend who's like really like close to you, and you know that they won't take advantage of you, and they're open to you talking about these kind of things, and you feel comfortable with them. The important thing is that
Mhm.
if you want to open about this kind of things, these heavy things in your heart and in your mind, and things that are clouding your conscience, discuss it and share it with a friend whom you find comfortable with and whom you can trust. That's the very important thing, because my belief is that when people because people like people who are in this situation, they're already vulnerable, and if they want to go talk to people, about their own issues, their own life issues, that things that are weighing them down, and if that person is not going to reciprocate and sort of like be there for them or whatever, but instead maybe it's just to use them or whatever, that whole issue that the victim is facing is going to be much worse, and it's
Yeah.
going to just like go down way low.
Okay, I think speaking on that, let me just open up a question to the floor, okay? Like, in terms of mental health, we say, go and talk to someone. Like, even if you don't have access to, like, a therapist, go and talk to your friends or someone you really trust to talk about their problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you say that to women, it's a bit easier because I think women are more... I think emotionally, they're a bit more well-equipped, right? They tend to be a bit more... Yeah, they tend to be more vulnerable. So what would you say to a guy who wants to... Like, how do you... why would you say, like, if you know a friend, a guy who's going through some mental health issues, how would you make them feel comfortable in opening up? Because we men are not comfortable opening up. So what would you say?
That's quite true, and that's actually a great question, because
Yes.
before I pass this to Wei Yong, I feel like as a guy, like I think if I were to go after a friend and try to like comfort them, I would listen to them at first, but then like I don't know why it's such a stigma, okay, I'm just gonna put it out there that we're just gonna. My one notion to do is that I will always tell them, bro, just let it go, man. Or like, bro, come on, you gotta be strong, you know. And that's that's such a guy thing to say, you know. But at the same time, I feel like we guys, we need to be a little bit more sympathetic and try to be a little bit more emotional and not try not to like think of the bromance lah, huh? If we want to be there for each other, don't think of bromance lah, okay? Bromance is a different thing lah, huh? If friends want to be there for you in your hard times, you know, let them be there, and you know, just try not to say anything harsh. Just encourage them, be there to listen with them, listen to whatever they have to say, because talking helps, and talking really alleviates a lot of the weight on one's chest. So Wei Yong, what do you have to say about this?
I think I agree with you. I think one important thing is you are able to listen to them. And listen to them, and as in like, you don't talk so much. Like, I mean, you can still give advice and all, but mostly you're just there to hear from them, or your friend, or So let them do most of the talking. Let them share their heart out, whatever they are facing and all, and you just be there listening to them. And I think one thing helps also is like, you give them, okay, maybe you hear like their situation here, right? You give them another perspective of the situation.
That's a great
of
thing.
how you look at it, or so maybe it's a relationship thing. Like, let's just say it's a girlfriend relationship thing lah. Let's just say then your friend come and share, like let you know all the like the hard things that like he's going through, right? Then maybe help him look at it from different perspective, from like outside perspective, or even from the girl perspective, or like that's an example lah. So that's like the two things. I think listening and also like offering like different perspective to the situation to help them.
No, sorry. I think for me it's just like, as guys, right, we don't really like, whenever we get together, all we talk is just talk cock. You know, and that's fun. Correct, and that's fun. Like we
never get to the emotional level. You know, we never get to details.
Under the laugh, right, there's like something going on, but.
Yeah, like, you know, okay, how many of us have like spent time with our boys and be like, oh, that's enough for me, just to spend time with them. But you always know there's an underlying issue with us that we wish we could talk, but we cannot.
Yeah, definitely. There's like this like barrier there, you know, that we just can't seem to go through, but we actually can, you know.
But I think that grows over time. Like, especially when you're young, there's no such thing as, I mean, not to say no such thing, but there's not much opportunity for you to, even if you gather, like you said, it's all about fun. You talk about sports, like talk about games, like talk about movies, like you talk about all these kind of things. Talk about other things, right? Like, but then as you grow older, right, then you start finding your conversation topic is a bit different. So I think it grows over time for me. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Like we men among our group of friends, it's very hard for us to get emotional. Like, until I think for me, I'm guilty of this as well. Like, if someone were to come and talk to me about the problems, right, I kind of freeze because I don't know what to say. Because it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird when a guy comes to me and talks about their problems. It's like, man, I didn't know you were going through this. I don't know how to say to you. Like, the one thing I could say is like, oh, it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Life.
It is what it is. Yeah. And I think that's
this is life.
I think that's where I think that's where we men should be a bit more accountable, where we should look out for each other more. Like, if your guy friend comes to and talks about your problems, try not to be a man, try to be a person, you know, try to be
just be a human
try
being,
to listen, try to
relate to
see what they're saying.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Because if it comes to a point where he comes and talks to you, right, you should know he has reached a tipping point.
Yeah,
he trusts you, like, basically.
That's like a mutual trust right there.
Yeah,
and also, I think the takeaway from this is that if your bro comes and talks to you about problems, just be there.
Yeah, just be there, guys. Come on, man. Yeah, it's not weird, okay? It's not homo, okay? It's just good to be supportive, okay?
Yeah.
And it's really fulfilling when you know that you can be there for someone.
Yeah, it's not. Fellas, is it gay to talk about your feelings? No.
Yeah,
no, it's not. Yeah, just talk.
Definitely.
Just talk.
That shouldn't be the stigma anymore, man. You know, especially for guys. You know, but I mean, we've been talking so much about how men handle, like, you know, our mental health and so forth. Okay, or like how we handle our mental health. Okay, but what is like, what's the difference between how men and women handle their mental health in general, okay?
Ooh.
And to be honest, I think this one everyone can truly sort of like put a pin on it and really like it stands out the most. Girls cry more than men.
It's
Yeah,
not it's
It's
not
such a
right,
normal
but it's
thing.
fact. Yeah.
It's such a
Right,
fact,
yeah.
and that men shouldn't cry, or like men no need to cry lah. Just wipe it away, be strong.
Yeah.
Macho.
Yeah, go to the gym. Go to the gym.
Work it
Pump
out.
the muscle. Pump the muscle.
But I feel it shouldn't be that way, because and here's one thing, and I'm gonna take this from my experience, okay? I feel that guys should learn how to at least cry. It may sound a bit weird, okay? But speaking from me, a person, I can't cry. I cannot really cry on, okay? You bring me to watch sad shows, or you bring me to or like, let's say if a relative even passes away or all those things, right? I cannot really cry on, I cannot, like, really. It's like my heart is so heavy. I know that I want to cry, but I just can't like seem to get there, But when I do cry, boy oh boy, that is one hell of a cry. Because
Niagara
it's like,
Falls.
yeah, it's Niagara Falls, really. Because like, I think the last time I really cried the most was like when my dog passed away. And
Ooh.
bro, I was crying my ass off, man. And I don't cry for petty little things or for just for weird things, It's like when I cry, it's literally like when I know that I've hit the tipping point of me, like, like I
Cannot
can't
tahan
hold this anymore. Yeah, I can't hold this
Mm.
anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
one thing. We guys need to learn how to express ourselves just slightly more. Okay? It doesn't have to be. I'm not saying that we need to be like all like soft and lembut and all these things, okay? But it's to just be a bit more expressive in our thoughts and our words, and to if you want to cry, man. Do you know that actually, right? Crying, according to healthharvard.edu, crying releases oxytocin and endogenous opioids. Opioids, okay?
Yeah.
Opioids. Known as endorphins.
You're
And
you're speaking English, right?
yeah, speaking English, man.
Man did some research.
No, I'm speaking
That's
words from
why.
Mars, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the
Harvard,
chemicals
bro.
that are released when we are like working out, when we go for a run. These are the happy. It's like happy hormones,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes us feel better. That's why every time, like, I guess why girls cry is because they know that you make them feel better in a way.
Correct.
Or like when
Actually,
I
I
know,
also
or like
relate
when I
also.
know I'm so heavy-hearted, right? I want to
Mhm.
cry is because I know I want to feel better.
Yes, when you cry you'll be better, but you
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah. It's just pain. That if you can't cry, it just hurts because it's just
Yeah.
there. It just hurts.
Yeah,
know?
I think the main difference, I think you said, crying is one of the big things that guys have a problem with that girls seem to not have a problem with. For a long time,
Totally,
I used to be
man.
for a long time I used to be annoyed. Like I look at girls and I'm like, why you guys cry so much?
Yeah.
But then I realized that they feel better when they cry.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to think that, oh, maybe crying is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and
So
I think
is.
we guys should practice that more. And I know it's a very hard thing. I mean, I know we talk about it in the podcast like something so easy to do.
Yeah.
I know it's not, but I think the important thing is that you should try. You should try to let out your emotions in a healthy way. Like we talk about vices, we talk about alcoholism and doing drugs and all that. I'll ask you this question, right? Would you rather cry or would you rather do drugs?
Yeah.
Or do dumb stuff?
Would you, or
Right.
to put it in business terms, would you rather
Mhm.
spend money on getting something to make you feel better, or would you just rather not spend money and
But
just
then,
work on yourself,
but then
man?
in reality, right, most people will choose like the drug side, the alcohol side, or those
Correct.
side, and
I
choose
think
not
it's
to
because
cry
it's
instead.
become like
Right.
it's become like sort of like a thing. I mean like even entertainment also, and like Hollywood has already put it in that kind of way. And I guess it has become like an influence I guess, or like some sort of like I don't know, it's like a stigma in a way that if our coping mechanisms are like to go to this, to go to this, to this.
It's eye-opening, right? Like instead of like you rather spend money and spend time and spend effort to go out and drink or do drugs or whatever that you do to get over your problems, then you just sit in a corner in your room and cry.
True.
like if you put it in papers, right? Like if you put it just right there, it looks like crying is a simpler option, but in reality, when we're actually going through it, that seems so hard that we rather go out and spend money and do all these things.
Yeah.
I think that's the crux of the problem with men's mental health. And if you think about it, we propagated the problem, because if I ever think about who said men don't cry, men shouldn't cry, it's probably one of your fathers or your uncles or their fathers or their uncles.
So the caveman man.
Yeah, it's like
the caveman told us not to cry.
Yeah, it's propagated by us. Like the issue is we are here right now because of the failure of the previous generation to look at
times have
mental
changed,
health.
Guys.
Yeah, to look at mental health as being an issue. So I think it's important. I think so. Yeah, and coming back to how like men and women like experience it differently and like handle it differently. Crying is one thing, talking is one thing.
Yeah.
I think women have healthier vices. I think when women go through things, right, they just go on social media, you know, they take pictures of themselves, they try to make themselves good,
But I guess that's a different. That's a much more in-depth issue in itself. Also,
Correct,
in my personal opinion. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more to it.
It's
but on the but on the surface, we can see that women are much better at handling it than men, because women are. I mean, hats off to them, lah. I think I don't know how they do it, but they are so well equipped emotionally to go through it. And we might think that, oh, you're so weak because you're crying, or you're so weak because you're doing this. But I look at it as if like, I wish I could cry like you. You know, I wish I could talk like you. I wish I could express myself like you, because I feel like I'll be better off doing whatever they're doing.
You know, it goes to prove a point. Like, you know how like girls sometimes they tell themselves, man, I wish like us as guy, like if I was a guy, like, hey, man, that would be so this one. Like as us guys, I wish we could, like, you know, something like that.
It's mutual, we wish.
Yeah,
we wish to be like that. We should be like
it's
us.
It's very funny, yeah.
It's very funny.
Because we both like we have different stuff. Like we have what they don't have. They have what we have. They can do things that we can't. We can do things that they can't. So,
but I guess you just want to put it out there that as much as we talk about how like girls are a little bit more expressive, I mean that's the general term lah. But I've met so many friends and girlfriends that you know they find it they find it really like hard to express themselves too. But with the right people they can.
Yes.
With the right people they can. So it's not to say that they can't.
I mean, as a like if you look at a girl group, they always talk about their problems. As a guy group, all we do is talk shit. Yeah. Which is great lah. I mean, to be honest, I don't regret it. But we could be a little bit more emotional. We can do that. Yeah.
I think we can, and we can be more vulnerable with each other, just by I think letting down our pride a little bit more.
Our ego.
Yeah,
we should let that go a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a whole lot better for the whole world.
Yes.
Yeah,
facts,
definitely.
Facts. Spitting.
I mean, we're talking about all these things and. It's been quite a heavy a topic, but I feel it's such a beneficial topic to talk about because, to be honest, as a guy, okay, I would want to hear these kind of things on a podcast, or like I love to hear these kind of things, like, you know, to just hear how, you know, men really like ought to, I guess, tackle their own mental health issues or whatever that it might be, or like it's just nice to know that this topic is just being talked about, you know, and not just being on like a general term or just about ladies, you know, because usually we don't talk about men's mental health, you know. I think
it's important to acknowledge that we go through stuff as well.
Yeah,
because one of the things I struggle is that I never thought other guys are going through it also, but when you talk about it, you realize everyone is going through it. Yeah, all your guy friends are going through it. So there's a sense of camaraderie there. So I think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Anyways, just to wrap things up, okay, we're going to end it on a good note here and just a little bit of some, I guess, something for you guys to take away. You know, what do you think is the best way for men? Okay, we just go with men first. Men, or like just in general, anyone to maintain good mental health. What do you think is the best way?
I think it depends personally but I think there's a general rule where you should, first of all, you should acknowledge that you're going through something, that you have an issue.
lah.
I think
It's like don't
I think the
avoid.
first step to
Definitely.
correct. I think the first step to like overcoming a problem in life in general is to acknowledge you have a problem. So
Yeah.
it's not gay to have a problem. It's not CC to have a problem. You have a problem. You have a problem, and it doesn't really affect you. It affects people around you. So acknowledge it. Find the strength to acknowledge it, and once you acknowledge it, if you can, try to seek professional help. I know it's expensive. I know it's it's a very privileged thing to have access to good counseling and all that. If you don't, it's okay. Try to get together a couple of friends or people you trust or your family members.
Mm.
Talk to them, and remember that this thing doesn't go away overnight. Your depression, anxiety, whatever you're facing doesn't go away overnight. So don't rush the process. Try to be a bit more patient. And as a guy, try to be a bit more vulnerable. Try to talk. I think we men should also hold each other accountable. When a guy comes
Just
to talk
don't
to
be
you about a
afraid,
problem,
guys.
yeah, and like I said, we men should hold ourselves accountable. Where if someone goes up to you and if a guy comes up and talks to you about a problem, don't be dismissive. Don't be say chill lah bro, it's nothing one bro. Don't say that, right? Try not to say that. Try to listen. Try to be a bit more attentive. Just don't be dismissive lah, huh? Like, we should look out for each other more. And yeah, I think if you do these things, my belief is that it will get better. It won't solve the problem, but you'll get better at handling it day by day.
It's a progressive journey of getting better.
Correct.
If you are willing to put
it's like a
in, if you're
marathon.
willing to put in the effort, yeah.
Yep.
I like to just add on a little bit on that. Like, I feel like, I mean, I'm a religious person. Okay, I'm a Christian, so. But I feel like for me or like anybody who's religious out there, or like even if you're a Christian and listening to this, I believe just by talking to God, I think that will help.
Whoa.
Prayer helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
As
man.
much as we feel like it might not. To be honest, it really helps. To be honest, because there's so many countless times where like I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to. And the only one that I can talk to is my best friend upstairs. So and usually most of the time when I do that, like I do that, you know.
do that.
Yeah, when I do that, yeah, I sort of feel a sense of relief because I feel like I'm talking to someone who really cares for me. You know, I mean, just coming from someone who's a Christian like me lah. I mean, just to put it out there, okay? I'm not trying to imply that you have to pray or anything, but this is also like a solution that you can also, I guess, go to. I'm not trying to say that, you got to go visit, those gurus or whatnot and stuff like that, but just like for me as a Christian, my belief is that, and I feel like it's a comfortable space for us to talk about this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it works for you. It works for you.
Yeah, if
right?
it works for you, it works for you. But as a Christian,
correct.
I highly encourage anyone who's out there listening to this. If you're a Christian and start praying, man. It helps. It really does.
Yeah. And even if you're not religious, sometimes just send a prayer to the universe. Like. I mean, not to get too spiritual and religious, but but I mean, like, sometimes you don't have someone to talk to yourself. Just look up and talk. Sometimes I'm not religious.
Like
I'm not a religious person.
self-assurance.
Yeah, I'm not a religious person, but sometimes I believe there's like a higher power and all that. Let's not get into it. But sometimes I do send a little prayer up there.
Yeah.
It helps. If it doesn't help, fine, okay. But just whatever that helps you that doesn't hurt other people's feelings, do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Do it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like generally, I think technically we have already like sort of like not only like say what's the best way for men, but I think we've sort of like encompassed everything
In general,
together.
not
and
just men
we
and-
put everything
Yeah.
together.
It's
already, to be
everyone,
honest.
I mean, like
Whatever
like
works
we
for
said,
you.
like we said, mental health does not discriminate.
Yeah, it does not.
So whatever that we men can do to get ourselves better at it, women can do it too, because the solution can be universal. But in terms of just men, just be a bit more try to tap into your emotional side a bit lah. I think it'll help you a lot and
Yeah.
help the people around you a lot also.
Most definitely. I mean, as much as we say kita jaga kita these days, with all these things, I think we also need to hashtag kita jaga kita emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
Lah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also
just
don't
be
be
there for
afraid
each
to
other.
say I love you to your bros, man.
Yeah. There's no
Yeah.
there's no bromance in that, like. Come on, man. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Just say-
yo, bro, just say
yeah.
I love you,
No
man.
homo.
You're there for me, man.
I love you, bro. It's a no homo space.
Yeah, it's no
Yeah, bro.
space, man. Don't
It's a
worry,
no
bro.
homo space. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, you guys have you guys can also chime in on this in the comments down below on Instagram or on YouTube. Do let us know, if you're a guy, okay, do let us know like what if you're comfortable enough, what are the issues that you face and what have you done to sort of like, I guess, counter it or like make it better, or like just if you are anyone who is watching this or here tuning in this on the IGTV or YouTube or on Spotify even, do let us know in our Instagram DMs or even on the video comments on YouTube or IGTV, how you go through things or like how you deal with them, or like if you just need or like what are you going through that you need help with,
Yeah.
just feel free to open up, because I feel we should open up, but maybe like if it's more private, okay lah, you can just DM us lah, and then probably like we just
Yeah. The Three Lattes Podcast is a safe space for everyone, guys.
yeah, it's
Just
a safe
saying.
space for everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great time this morning with the three of us. Okay, from me, Simon, Vinod, and Wei Yong. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode and this topic. We hope that you took something away from this, and we hope that you have a great day, a morning, afternoon. We have a great week ahead. All right, do stay safe and do take care. Do you guys have anything else to say to those who are tuning in?
To the men who are listening to this, you're not alone, and I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wei Yong, what do you have anything else to say?
I mean, hope that y'all can take something away from the podcast today. Even if it works for you or it doesn't work, but I think most importantly is to be open and don't feel shame lah to go and ask for help. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
one thing.
Preaching, bro. You're preaching.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
So that's the time that we have from the three of us. Once again, we are the Three Lattes. This is the Three Lattes Podcast. It's me, Simon, and we have Vinod and Wei Yong. We hope you guys take care, and we'll see you in the next episode next Monday at 10 a.m. We'll see you guys then. Take care and stay safe. Ciao, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.